Hi everyone. In today's lecture, we learn about default routing and our static routing. But before that, let's understand router. So as we have learned in previous lecture that it works on layer 3 and it forwards our IP packet to our next what we say broadcast domain by maintaining a routing table, and by that it forwards it. And before jumping into our default router, let's understand default routing. Let's understand our default gateway. So as we have learned in the previous one, it is like our everyday gateway, like that we see in our society, that helps us to communicate outside of our network. So basically in networking, it is kind of like an IP address assigned to a part of a router that helps us communicate to other networks outside of our own network. Okay, so when we talk about now routing, there are different types of routing. We have static routing, we have default routing, we have directly connected, we have dynamic routing. But in this video, we'll just have a brief about default routing and static routing. When we talk about static routing, so in static routing, we are telling the network to follow a very specific path. I'm telling that if you see this network, if you want to reach this network, use this specific path. Because when we see it in a larger frame, so it is very useful that we have this specific network. It is not getting lost, or it is not getting into conjunction. Okay, so if I talk about the syntax that we use in GNS3, we'll see that later in lab, but for now we write it as IP route, then we write our what we say destination address along with its subnet mask, and then the next hop or the exit interface. So this is our static, which is very specific about the path to be followed for a network. Then comes the default route. Default route is when it is that he doesn't know anything and he's just using what we say, it is called as a gateway of last resort. So he doesn't know anything, so he'll just say that please use this way. It's like you don't know anything, so you just say you can go straight. So for default routing, the syntax that we use is IP route 0.0.0.0 along with its subnet mask, which is 0.0.0.0, and then next hop. So if I want to summarize it, in default routing, it doesn't know anything, so it uses the our last resort. In static routing, it knows the specific path to be followed. It is very specific. It is something like that. The specific human tell me the address. Please follow this specific address for this specific network. And then the last one is in dynamic routing, it asks us, has any other router told me about this specific network? If yes, then follow this path. So we'll see more about default route. We'll see more about routing in our upcoming lectures about dynamic routing in very much detailed way. So this was very brief about default routing and static routing. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next one.